to where she then gives him another chance. And as a young bull, to be frank, I'm happy that he cheated. I was happy that he cheated. Toxic relationships. I think as a 6'4" caramel light-skinned man, curly-haired, semi-athletic, I think by default I know a thing or two about these. I feel like my archetype seems to thrive in this type of environment. It's sort of like a home court. I'm not saying that I'm one of them. I'm just saying there's a reason the lounge exists. You know what I'm saying? I feel like when specific light-skinned men understand the power that they wield, then when it comes to future lovers, or for them, if you want to call them pawns, toxicity is inevitable. And again, I just want to clarify, I'm not one of these types of guys, but I feel like because I am of that build, I could spot these things from a mile away. And I've also had my own personal experiences with toxicity within a relationship and stuff like that. So I felt like this video was the perfect video to make. And I just wanted to start off simple with the most recent inductee into the lounge and his lover, Sasuke and Sakura. And I mean, we see it from the jump with them, as I talked about in that video. And I know I still got to make a part 2 to it when he's in his later stages of toxicity, but he really is one of the worst to ever do it when it comes to the art of love. And it's not really just his fault either. Sakura definitely plays a heavy part in it, considering the fact that she keeps chasing and coming back to him over and over again after he made it clear on multiple occasions that he wanted nothing to do with her at all. But I mean, he's really the worst of the worst, because he'll show little hints that maybe he cares about her, but then on the complete opposite side of the spectrum, he'll do some shit like attempt to take her life with a smile on his face. And I mean, he really is low-key the go to this shit, just the go to toxicity, because if you really take a look at his track record, like when he left the village and had that whole conversation with her about how he's never really liked her, Orochimaru's got a couple side pieces lined up for him that could actually give him what he's looking for, all of that stuff. It's like, as a youngster watching that, I thought that was the toughest shit in the show. I'm not gonna lie to you. Like, I wanted him to break her heart into a million pieces. I don't know what was wrong with me. I was just such a Sasuke glazer at the time. Anything he did, I approved of. So then he goes to do what he had to do with Orochimaru. She's constantly thinking about this nigga every day. He, of course, started dating Karin. I know he doesn't want to admit it, but that's basically what was going on. And it was like when we got into late Shippuden and that toxicity started becoming more adult, and I also was growing up and seeing this nigga's manipulative tactics, I'm like, oh, he sucks big time. And then it's like we get to the end of the series when the whole Kaguya Madara thing's going down and Sasuke is going back and forth. I'm not even knowing which side he resides on. That nigga didn't even know what was going on himself, honestly. So just seeing him do what he did throughout the whole series to then turn on everyone, and then it's like he has the nerve after, I think it was the Kaguya fight, when Sakura's about to pass out, to catch her, grip her shoulder tight, look her in the eyes, and that's dead ass all he needed to do. He's been planning this shit from the jump. I'm telling you, this is how these types of people operate. And I think even after this moment, he ended up turning on them anyway. This is what I'm saying. I want to say this is called breadcrumbing, where he gives a little bit to have her thinking the relationship's going somewhere, to then just take it away right then and there and cause her more trauma. And don't even get me started with when they actually got together, because the fact, I don't know if this is confirmed, I'm pretty sure it is though, the fact that his very own child wears his ex's glasses is insane. She must have been showing that man the 6 paths of sex. Because if I'm in Sakura's position, that calls for divorce immediately. There's no middle ground with that. We could take you to Lens Crafters. We are basically royalty in this village. We could get these shits for free. Ray-Bans, Versace, Jimmy Choo, whatever the hell you want. And I'm just getting word now, even worse news. This is as bad as it gets. Not only did Karin give Sarada her glasses, but she kept Sarada's umbilical cord from when she was born. Nigga, whose baby is this? Run a DNA test now. We need to get Mori. We need to get Eddie. Because this is evil at this point, and I can't solely blame Sasuke or just Karin here, because Sakura plays into this and she lets this shit be. And I can't deny the fact that in adulthood he is trying to at least be somewhat of a competent husband and father, but it's like it took a very long time to get here. And I just want to preface, just because the relationship is toxic doesn't mean it can't work out at the end of the day. Sometimes people just meet in very rocky parts in life, which then leads to a lot of emotional and possibly physical turmoil, as we saw, of course, with this nigga a couple times. But at the end of the day, if you guys can fix your problems, that relationship is probably going to be one of the more strong ones out there. Basically, what I'm trying to say is, text your ex, y'all. Just text them. Do what I see girls call Delulu. Do it. If they broke your heart and committed treason, then let's restart and come together with better reason. And if any of mine are watching right now, turn your ringer on and expect a notification from me right after I finish this video and post it. This is a joke. I will not be doing anything of the sort, and I don't recommend y'all do that either. that we saw Sanji, he was thrusted into a situation that he really didn't have any control over, that he finally came to terms with and tried to accept. And he was just trying to make the best out of a situation that both parties were kind of almost not the biggest fan of. So then just seeing him try to pull up to putting on some romantic shit with the flowers, the picnic basket, whatever, and him overhearing her talking shit, looking at this scene makes me want to cry. I'm not like, this was probably the saddest scene in One Piece for me. I'm really not gonna lie, like, because she was grilling that nigga. She was just firing off back to back, and then she had her little goblins in the back laughing with her, so I'm sure that just added extra fuel to the fire. And just seeing him in the range trying to light the Marlboro and that one raindrop falling on it, and just this face, I'm about to cry looking at it. I'm not even this shit. The saddest scene I've seen in an anime by far. You could just feel like every bit of pain in this moment for him. And then when he blinks his eye, to me, I just hear like in his head, he's just like, damn, you know, it's just like, damn. And then him just still trying to get that lighter I literally can't talk about it. Like, this would really, I don't know why this would hurt me so bad, but this was tough, genuinely. I mean, let's not even forget the fact that during their wedding, she had the Glock in her waistband about to take him down point blank range. But then even after all that, of course, he still accepted her for who she was, calling her eye beautiful and stuff like that. And Sanji definitely has his blemishes as a character, and I feel like he could definitely be handled better, but he wasn't the toxic one in this relationship. And the little thing they had going on, it was just a toxic situation which led to a semi-toxic relationship. But I just wanted to bring them up because that was a little heavy hitter for me. The next couple I talk about aren't even fiction. They're actually as non-fiction as it gets, but with the shit I've been seeing about them lately, their relationship might as well be fiction. And I hope that it's actually a loving, caring, prosperous, and forever blossoming one. Actually, I really hope it is. My qualm here, if that's what you want to call it, is just the potentially not even toxic, radioactive clips and comments I've been seeing circulating on the internet, which again doesn't mean that I'm saying that they're in a toxic relationship. It's just some of the behaviors give me PTSD to semi-toxic periods in my life. Because I'm giving this whole big disclaimer because again, it's like, I don't want to speak about another man and his woman in a disrespectful manner, especially when I don't know him, and especially when it's Wardell Stephen Curry II. It's just some of the clips I've been seeing specifically regarding Ayesha and what she says about Steph and how she presents certain information about him. It has just been semi-funny and entertaining. So I was just trying to make an entertaining situation out of an entertaining situation, and I hope all is good. But as I was saying, with some of the shit that she says, I feel like I'm the one on the receiving end of it. Like, that's how bad it is. Like when she was talking about how she sees how women throw themselves at Curry and she doesn't feel like she gets that same response from other men aside from her husband. And I'm not trying to completely shit on her. That's not what I'm trying to do. But I'm just saying, if I was in Wardell's position after hearing that, I can't say that she'd be coming home to a house. I'm airlifting the whole property, and the only time you're gonna know where I am is when I'm dropping 50 on niggas at the Chase Center. But it's like the way that she paints this nigga too. If I'm seeing my wife do this on national TV or on the internet for everyone to see, it would fuel me up with so much anger that I'd probably be playing some of the best basketball I ever have in my life. I would reach another prime. And this will be my final straw. When she's on #girlchat or whatever, this freaky nigga pulls up with the wine float shirtless, and then she's fake pulling off her ring. Maybe I'm speaking from a biased perspective. I personally believe Curry's a better looking dude than this guy. And if he was in the same exact room with Chocolate Thunder, Thunder would probably be asking Curry for an autograph or something if you really think about it. And I get joking around, but it's just the way that she did it. And it's like, if Stefan did that, then the whole world would be set ablaze. And then the icing on the cake, keep in mind, I'm not one to judge. Nigga, I embrace it. I can't say that if I had a girl and she had nice feet, I'm not going to appreciate them, especially if she had like some French vanilla tips on there. That's a great flavor. Or some strawberry frosting on that shit. Finger looking good. Bone apple feet. But just her saying that instead of explicit pictures, she just sends Wardell pictures of her feet. Look at our girl here. She is absolutely bewildered that Ayesha is doing this shit right now. And again, I'm one that believes, like, if I'm attracted to a woman, like seriously attracted, especially if we're like dating and talking and really getting to know each other, I'm attracted to every crack and crevice of her, both physically and mentally. And if my girl had nice toes, I'd happily settle down and build a shelter in between her big one and her index one. Like, to me, it's like, you want to go get a pedicure, girl? Save the money. Don't even worry about it. I got you with my mouth. That was a bit extreme, but I'm just being human. Next, we got Mr. Incredible and Mrs. Incredible, aka Helen, aka Mrs. Incrediburger, aka Elastic Gal. I'm gonna be real, I don't even think there was much toxicity between them. Like, yes, there was that time Mr. Incredible was low-key cheating on Helen with Mirage, and they were having this embrace here, and as Elastic Gal rightfully should have done, she decked that woman right in her stupid oval-shaped head. And the reason I even brought them up in the first place is because I know that they're not toxic like that, but I just wish they were. So then she would be a single woman. And it's going to take a bit for me to do it and develop the technology so I could eventually enter the Incrediverse in some way, shape, maybe for the third movie. I don't know. Just so I could get in there and be a real husband, because this nigga's a phony. I'd become her husband, love and care for her and develop that connection. Then I'd turn heel, betray her in some way, nothing too crazy, but to where she would have to fight me just so she could beat my ass, because that's the type of woman she is. She's the type of woman to where, like, when you look at her, you get mad at yourself and you feel like you deserve an ass beating just for even, I don't even have the words for it, but I just would like to get my ass beat by her. And next, I wanted to talk about Mordecai and this evil, conniving, sick and twisted demon bird being Margaret. I don't even want to say Mordecai and Margaret, actually. I just want to say Mordecai and anyone he dates. He's really the main culprit here, but I feel like Margaret, being his first love, enabled and developed his toxic behaviors, because I don't know if y'all remember in the earlier seasons, this woman, I mean, every man aged between 21 and 26, I think that's the age these characters were at the time in the show. Every man in her hometown knew of her, knew her favorite color, and has participated in a game of 21 questions with her at least once. Oh, and I know how it is in those earlier days when you're first starting to like get into the dating game, trying to get your first girl, or you have your like first little crush or your first love. It's like you're almost delusional and you're just like unreasonably in love with this person. But with the type of dudes Margaret was going for early on, that shit would have had me force Benson to ban her from the park, because she used to be like, hey Mordecai, meet my new boyfriend, his name is Slasher, Holy Knight of the Cosmos. Where the fuck is she meeting these people? And I think this is where Mordecai's toxicity really started, with the second boyfriend being Angel, the Serenader of the Heavens. His head has the shape and look of a mozzarella stick with cheese leaking out the top of it. If I saw this bullshit, I would have not known how to love either, because what the hell is going on? And at the end of the day, obviously he's the only one to blame, but still every effect has a cause. Because we see about 32 relationships later, Margaret and Mordecai finally give it a chance with each other. They seem to be going well, and he actually seems to be in a semi-positive situation. She goes away to school, whatever. This is when it started. And as I said, he's obviously to blame, but I feel like Margaret had to have some sort of spiritual influence on him, because let's not forget the fact that he eliminated Rigby from existence just because of a dispute they got into over her, because Rigby took her out for a movie or something. I forgot the context. This is the level to which this obsession went. CJ comes in the picture, and as a guy, CJ is really like the ideal, let me just put it, she was a gift from God, because Mordecai was in a situation where he had a woman who he genuinely thought was the love of his life, his perfect match. Whatever, she goes away, he's heartbroken. And I'm not gonna lie, when I was younger, I didn't understand a lot of things about the world. So as Mordecai was obsessed with Margaret, I thought she was bad too. I'm just gonna keep it honest. So when CJ came into the picture, I didn't think she was as attractive compared to the sharpness of Margaret's beak. But now being an adult, it's like I understand that CJ was in a completely different galaxy compared to Margaret and had more character development than she did, maybe an episode or two into her introduction. And it's just like the way her and Mordecai came together, it was like potentially right person, just wrong time. Because when I say this nigga treated her like ass, I'm talking about the type of shit Maura Mills has on her right now. Because goodness gracious, and she gave him so many chances too. It's like the way the show portrayed her, as I'm watching it, I'm thinking as a kid that she's the one that's in the wrong, but she actually would get angry and then come back down to earth and still forgive and give them another chance. Because not only did he ask her to go to the movie or whatever, ditch her to then go ask Margaret, which was already kind of fucked up because they were bonding. I'm sure there were some other things in between there, but then after they actually develop a relationship together, he then proceeds to cheat on her with Margaret, to where she then gives him another chance. And as a young bull, to be frank, I'm happy that he cheated. I was happy that he cheated, because again, I was just as obsessed with Margaret as him. And at the time, I'm just waiting eagerly for CJ to get her cumulonimbus ass out of here and go cause a storm somewhere else, because she's not going to rain on my parade anymore. I was a toxic ass kid, man. And I really don't feel like I was the only one, because as kids, we don't understand what's going on. So the adult and real world rules don't apply.
So I'm convinced when this cheating scandal happened, I wasn't the only one to dig quarters out of random places in their household to go celebrate with a 7-Eleven Slurpee. Extra large, but that's enough of that. We saw that even after she forgave him, it's like you're not thinking that it could get worse.
But then he decides to go on the altar during one of his good friend's wedding while both CJ and Margaret are in attendance and says some shit like this. Now wait, Muscle Man is right. Finding the right person is hard. And it's like I've been telling myself for the longest time there's no such thing as soulmates, but I mean look at Muscle Man and Starla. It's almost like they were meant for each other anatomically. So it's like, where's my soulmate? You know, maybe they're in this room. Maybe it's you, probably not. Maybe it's that old lady, probably not either. It would most likely be someone similar, almost meant for me. Get the fuck off the stage. Oh, right. My point is, I just love. And it's like, I don't know in this world if there's one perfect person for me. You know, maybe there's two. Maybe we could do a love triangle with potential candidates in this room, you know?
And maybe monogamy isn't even what people hype it up to be.
I mean, who knows? Like, can we get any hands for polygamy? I see you back there. High five, family. And I think for the first time, I'm going to take Rigby's advice. CJ, I love you, shawty. I got something to tell you right now. Mordecai, just stop. I already know what you're going to say, so save it. You don't know who your soulmate is? Man, if I'm CJ in this situation, I'm blowing this bitch the fuck up. Category 6 hurricane. Are you kidding me? This isn't even my immediate friend group. She pulled up to his friend's wedding in her nice dress on a bicycle.
And he just forced her into an unskippable cutscene. I mean, what a stud, what a player. He clearly gets it, and this is husband material.
Yeah, it's just Mordecai and anyone he dates, because anyone he dates is a toxic situation at the end of the day, and we saw who he ended up with. Let's be honest.
What the hell is that? You just made the...
And it's like, I'm not going to sit here and judge, but I mean, look at this final portrait of him. Rigby ended up getting his dream girl. I know Eileen is a sweetheart. I bet she is the best wife you could ever ask for. And they somehow gave birth to a WNBA player. We see Skip still looking young as ever. We already know what type of freak shit Muscle Man and Muscle Mom were on. They had a whole small town's worth of children. But then take a look at Mordecai. Out of everyone in this picture, his kids look angry with the fact that they're here. And there's not a thought behind those eyes. And again, maybe I'm judging, but I mean, we could see it. The proof is in the pudding. And it's like 2 generational fumbles back to back with Margaret and CJ. He could have had swallows for children, but instead he gave birth to a race that you'd see in Baldur's Gate or something. See, with Yuki and Yuno, I'm gonna be quick with it. I know there's a lot into their relationship, and by definition, it's definitely a toxic one. But the first time I watched this show, I remember thinking quite the opposite, and I thought she was a ride or die for my brother over here. I remember she would do things like massacre hordes of niggas just for this guy. I remember there was another scene, she had Yuki tied up, and all I could remember when I was watching this for the first time was like, this is love. This is what it's all about. Because I wasn't really per se focused on how we got here. I was focused on the intentions behind Yuno's actions, and all I saw was someone who was obsessed with her guy. And if women could go on Hinge and always in the prompts be talking about, I need you to be obsessed with me, mildly obsessed with me, I don't think there was any problem with my 14-year-old self looking at this relationship in this manner. And at the end of the day, I'm pretty sure both of them became like the gods of whichever universe they were in or something like that. So I mean, the way we got here was very rocky, but I think at the end of the day, they end up living happily ever after. Now with Finn and Flame Princess, I don't even want to talk about Princess Hubba Bubba, because I'll be rambling for 30 minutes. Just the worst type of girl to have a crush on, never reciprocating. And then when Finn finally starts finding success in his love life, then that's when you start trying to insert yourself into his life and getting jealous and all that stuff. And I remember she was saying that Flame Princess was a hazard, so that was her excuse. There was a lot of bogus she was speaking, I remember, but I'm not even going to talk about her. I'm talking about Flame Princess. And when I saw Flame Princess introduced for the first time, I mean, she definitely ignited a fire in my heart. I felt it, because she was like a firecracker just off of first glance and first impressions. But when he really got to know her, we saw how sweet and down to earth she was. She was great. And this shit was really just a nigga who was way too immature and horny, and then a girl with trauma who came together, and at their core they're great people, and they're probably a really good match together. But mixing in all those other factors just led to the shit falling apart. And I mean, we see it from the jump. I mean, this relationship started off with abuse. As soon as FP pulled up to the treehouse, damn near about to burn the shit down, and ended up taking a right hand from her, and then that shit excited him. So that was already an issue. Like for a while, it really was magical between them. And it's like FP had her short tempers and whatever, but Finn was really the catalyst as to why they split, and he basically squandered his opportunity because he was selfish and only really cared about what he wanted from her and not how she would feel about certain things. Not that it was malicious in any way, he was just young, innocent, and didn't know what he was doing. Because we see her one day, she has her beef with Ice King, whatever. I don't remember what shit he was talking, but we already know how he's always yapping. But one day Finn was spectating her and him running a 60-second, and she sent that nigga packing. And from that moment forward, the relationship was doomed because this freaky nigga enjoyed the thrill of her violent ways. Because it was one thing for him to get smacked by her early on, but to see her take out his foes with the passion that she was doing it with, I don't blame him one bit for getting horny about that. I really can't, because if I stumbled upon my girl piecing up one of my ops, coming out unscathed, what am I gonna do? Get mad at her? And this nigga was instigating, and it got bad. FP on Jake's life. I just overheard Ice King say, Flame Princess looks just like her mama, fat and ugly. I promise you, FP, he just said that. What the heck is that about? So then from this point on, he just starts writing both of them fan mail just so he could watch them fight while he sat in the corner. And I don't know if this was symbolic of that as well, but that's sure what it felt like. And after his reign of terror, he eventually comes clean, which is where their relationship ended. And it's like, there's really no coming back when you mess up this bad, because it's one thing to do something out of selfishness, but to bring out her insecurities and use them against her, that was just a whole other side of it. And then putting her life in danger, it was just bad all around. And it's like, I get it though, he just couldn't control his urges like that. And after they break up, I mean, it's like he tried getting back with her on a couple occasions, and then she just wasn't letting up. And then Cinnabon, even though they state it's like a platonic thing, I'm pretty sure her and Cinnabon are like this: if I lost my girl to him, I would never be happy again.
Light, is everything okay? Is something wrong? You look kind of...
Misa, just shut the fuck. And with Light and Misa, I could talk about every instance that he's taken advantage of her, and every instance where she was severely obsessed with him. But to be straight, I could summarize this in a sentence or two. This nigga hated her, and she low-key thrived in that hate. That's really all it was. They were together primarily because both of them wanted something from the other. Misa, a more normal approach, wanted love, while it was in an obsessive, unhealthy way. All she really wanted was love, and she didn't care what that really looked like. If Light wanted to give her a jab, cross, uppercut, and that was his form of love, she would take that love at least 3 times a day. And I mean, it's like, can we really blame him though? Because she was locked into this 360 from the jump. From when she was saying that she wanted to be his girlfriend and stuff, and he hit her with the,
I understand. I can't be your boyfriend, but I can act like it.
she was already locked in. And I could talk about it more, I'm gonna be honest with y'all. I got my trip tomorrow. This is probably coming out as I'm a couple days into it already, but I'm not gonna be able to record, and I gotta get to editing this. There's a couple more couples I got in mind that I could do a part 2 on if y'all wanna see that. But I mean, no, that's really all I got. So I mean, remember to hype the video up, stay toxic. Fellas, if you got a girl, get a side piece. Ladies, if you got a man, cheat on him and abuse him, because that's really what it's all about. And I'm joking, please don't do that. I don't condone any of that, seriously.